Oh, hey. I was just sleeping with my glasses on. Uh, it's been a long year, and I've seen over like 40 movies or something this year, and played some video games, watched some TV shows. So I figured it's time for a nap. But I did see one last movie to talk about on this channel. Uh, Let me tell you something. Puss in Boots 2 blows the hell out of Avatar: The Way of Water. Okay? And I'm only like half joking when I say that, right? But I figured, I'm already up. Let's talk about this. So, Puss in Boots 2 is really good. Like, it's surprisingly really good. I don't know why. I don't know what made DreamWorks want to go so hard on this movie, but I'm glad they did, because this I really love Turning Red. You hear that voice crack? I love Turning Red. I like the bad guys. And I even really, I enjoyed Minions: The Rise of Gru. And this is by far the best animated movie I've seen this year. It's actually one of my favorites of the year. Let me tell you right now, unfortunately... Oh, shit. Did you see that? I hit my elbow on the fucking... But anyways. So, unfortunately, I don't have any time to watch Babylon or The Whale, which is very disappointing. I was really excited for both of them, but unfortunately, I just don't have the time right now. I'll get to them eventually, but, I am sad that I was able to miss them. But I had the time to go see Puss in Boots today, and I'm glad I did, because like I said, this movie goes insanely hard, and I don't know why. But first off, let me just talk about Shrek. So, I'm a Shrek fan. I mean, come on. I grew up with those movies. I did. I pretty much have the same opinions on them that everybody else does. Shrek 1 is good, Shrek 2 is the best, Shrek 3 is ass, and Shrek 4 is fine. It's good. Shrek 4 is, it's alright. I think it's okay. I think it's a good, finale. It's a good ending to the story of Shrek. But as an actual movie on its own, I'm not, crazy about it. But it ended the story of Shrek fine. I was satisfied by the end of it. And then Puss in Boots 1, it was fine. It was a movie, I wasn't, in love with it, but I didn't hate it. There was nothing about it that was terrible. There was nothing about it that was awful. It was a movie. And, it was fine. And when the trailer for this came out, I was like, cool, it looks fine. Animation looks neat. I like that DreamWorks is trying something different. They tried this with the bad guys, and it looked really good. I'm really glad that, big animation studios are going for a more stylized, way of telling their stories, Not just with DreamWorks with the bad guys and Puss in Boots, but obviously Spider-Verse and Mitchell's versus the Machines. And even Turning Red was a little different than the usual Pixar style. So I was happy to see that, But I still wasn't, super excited for this movie, And then, a week ago, I hear that this movie... People are saying that it's on the level of, the Lego Movie and Spider-Verse. And I'm like, Puss in Boots 2 is on the same level as the Lego Movie and Get the fuck out. There's no way, okay? And I thought this movie was amazing. I'm not even fucking joking. I thought, even when I watched reviews of people, talking about this movie, and they're saying how good it is, I'm like, you're lying. You are fucking lying. You're trolling. You have to be trolling. This is Puss in Boots 2. There's no way it's that good. And I watched it, and it is. It's that good, surprisingly. I don't know how or why. But this movie is so fast-paced. It starts out great. It starts out with an awesome opening number, an action scene, and it just keeps that energy for almost the whole movie. And Puss is a great character. If you're going to make a spin-off about any character from Shrek, it should be Puss in Boots, because he lends himself to such great stories. And I love the setup of this movie. It's not just, Puss in Boots 1 was just, hey, here's an adventure with Puss in Boots in it. Here's just him doing some stuff. This one, I felt like it was an actual, it was like, I felt like they were really saying, let's not just say, hey, let's have Puss in Boots go on an adventure for an hour and a half. Let's actually go into this character and let's tell a compelling story with him. And I love the setup of he's on his last life. Like, death is literally, death is like stalking him. He's closing in on him. And Puss is like terrified. It's almost like an on-the-run story, and I love those kind of stories. So, and speaking of death, this movie, like, people complain all the time about movies having too many characters, right? And some movies, too many villains. Like, you know, Spider-Man 3 is the obvious one. That movie has 3 villains. This movie has 3 sets of villains, and they're all great. First off, you have Goldilocks and the 3 Bears, who are hilarious, and they are so much fun to watch. And they even have their own really fun journey and arc in the movie. And then you also have Jack Horner, who is hilarious. He's such an asshole. He's such a piece of shit that I loved watching him. And he's so creative, what they do with that character. He has this bag where he just reaches in and finds, like, a bunch of fairy tale items. Like, he has, well, I don't want to spoil it, but he has, like, weapons from various fairy tales and nursery rhymes, and it's really, really fun and imaginative, and what they do with him in the climax is so cool. And then you have this wolf who is genuinely, like, this is a PG rated animated movie, and the wolf is genuinely kind of scary. And I loved how they used him, because he looks menacing as hell, and every time he shows up, there's this little, like, every time he shows up, the movie makes it clear that this guy is a big deal, and they're not fucking around anymore. He has this whistle, and every time you hear it, it genuinely, like, made my whole theater. It scared the little girl, like, in the row in front of me. Like, it was that chilling. And I love how every time he shows up, Puss, like, his fur, it kind of goes up. You can see he's getting goosebumps. He's scared. His eyes widen a little bit. Like, he's scared, and you're scared. And he's a great villain. I mean, every time he shows up, I love how they use him too, because he's not in the movie a whole lot. So every time he does show up, you're like, oh shit, I forgot about him. He's here. No, I love when a villain can make an entrance in the movie, and it makes me think, oh shit, they're here. You know what I mean? Like, he was genuinely, like, he was a great villain. He's one of the best animated villains I've seen in a movie in years. Like, he's awesome. And yeah, this movie, it's funny, it's got action, it looks amazing. There's so many great shots. Like I said, with the wolf, whenever he shows up, the animation just goes so hard. I am so surprised with how this movie turned out. Even knowing that I'm like, this will be fun, but I was like, wow, they really cared. They really, like, wanted to not only tell a great story, but use the medium of animation in a creative and imaginative way. This is one of the most imaginative movies I've seen all year. It uses the world. Like, what I like about this one more than the first one is that this movie feels more like a Shrek movie than Puss in Boots 1 did. You know, it literally says on the poster, a new story from the fairy tales of Shrek. And the movie uses the setting of Shrek, which is like a different, more subversive version of a lot of fairy tales, you know, and folklore. And the movie uses that to beautiful effect. Like, there's this, they have to go to this forest, and the forest leads to the last wish that they're going towards. And every time somebody grabs the map, the forest changes to become an obstacle course of sorts to cater to that person. And it's really, really creative what they do with it. They go deep into character. I really love it. I especially, I don't want to spoil it, but Goldilocks and the 3 Bears, they have a really great scene with that. And, yeah, I mean, I want to talk about the climax of this movie, because the climax of this movie is, it's honestly, like, it's really good. Like, I'm going to go into some minor spoilers now. Minor spoilers, so don't worry. But, you have, like, all these different characters coming together, and they're fighting on this really epic, like, landscape. I don't want to say what they're fighting on exactly, but what they're fighting on looks awesome, and it really gives you the vibe of like this is a final battle. And then one character shows up, and they show up and the music starts playing, and then like there's fire that goes around Puss and this other character, and they start fighting, and it's like, why is this movie going so hard? This is a Shrek spin-off, and this movie is like so good. Like, this is the most random, like, go see this movie. Like, if you like, this is like the Paddington 2 of 2022, where when you say this movie is unironically like amazing, people are gonna be like, what the fuck are you talking about? This is Puss in Boots 2. But like, no, man, this movie is like crazy good. Crazy good. And like I said, Puss himself, I thought they really did a great job with his character. Like, they, you know, he's a classic example of like fame getting to his head more than the people in his lives. Fame getting more into his head rather than the people in his life that he should be appreciating more. And that sounds cliche, but the way they do it in the movie, I like it. I like it. And like I said, Jack Horner, Goldilocks, and the Wolf, they're the three villains of the movie. They're all so awesome in their own way. Like Goldilocks, like I said, they have their own little journey on their own that's really well done. Jack Horner is hilarious, and the Wolf is like terrifying. Like, he's like the Lalo Salamanca of DreamWorks. I'm not even fucking kidding when I say that. Yeah, and the climax, like I said, it's so awesome. It's got great character moments. It's great to look at visually. The action is off the charts, and it concludes in a really satisfying way narratively. I don't want to spoil anything, but the last scene with the wolf in this movie, I really like. I really like the last scene with the wolf in this movie. I know his real name isn't Wolf, but I don't want to... Well, I kind of already did, sorry. But, like, you know what I mean. If I did have any complaints with this movie, and they really are nitpicks, but, like, number one, the movie did slow down a little bit, just a little bit for, like, a few minutes near the middle, and I was kind of like, alright, this is cool, but let's pick it up a little bit. And also the dog, I didn't find him annoying. Like, he's not like, you know, Aquafina in Raya and the Last Dragon levels of bad, but I just didn't find him all that funny. Or, I thought he was fine. I thought he was likable enough where I wasn't annoyed by him, but he never really made me laugh or care that much about his character. But other than that, I loved this movie. I'm really glad this is the last movie I'm going to see in theaters this year, because it's terrific. It's like everything you'd want in a movie like this. I think this is the best Shrek movie since the second one. It's funny. It looks amazing. Go see it. Your kids will love it. You'll love it. And I love that it feels like a fairy tale. Like, they didn't try and modernize it. They don't have Puss rapping. They don't have him making Twitter jokes, you know? It's just, this movie feels, in the best way, it just feels like a straight up epic fairy tale. And I love that. That is the best compliment. What the fuck just happened to the TV? Okay, be back. No, but seriously, go see this movie. Support it, because it deserves your money. And it gets me very excited for the future of DreamWorks, because with this and the bad guys, it looks like they're really, like, not that they were half-assing it before, but I really feel like DreamWorks has gotten like this spark again that they haven't had in a while, where I'm like, wow, I feel like they put more than ever. I feel like they're putting a lot of passion into their stories. I'm really looking forward to Kung Fu Panda 4. And, you know, I don't know if they're making Shrek 5, but if they are, I'm pretty excited for it, because I think it could be something really great. Puss in Boots: The Last Wish is an awesome movie. I'm giving it a 9. I'm not even joking. You think I'm trolling, but I'm not. This movie goes hard. And that's it. That's every movie I saw this year. Wow, we made it to the end of the year. That's crazy. I've been doing these for 12 months. 12 months, guys. And I've had so much fun making these reviews, and I'm going to continue to make them. There's a lot of stuff coming out in 2023 that, you know, a lot of stuff I'm very excited for. So, yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing what this new year brings. And I'm tired. So I appreciate sticking around to the end of the review. But I'll see you later, and I hope you all have a great end of the year, and I will see you all in 2023.